This year's Marvel Studio panel at San Diego Comic-Con may not have been overflowing with new reveals and announcements, but there was one huge shocker to cap off the evening we learned that Avengers 5 has now become Avengers Doomsday, and none other than Robert Downey Jr. has been cast as the iconic Marvel villain Doctor Doom. Marvel fans are still trying to wrap their heads around that announcement. It's a big deal that arguably Marvel's biggest and most important villain is finally going to be making his MCU debut. But why is he being played by Downey of all people? Is Doom an evil variant of Tony Stark? We have a lot more questions than answers at this point. But it's important to remember one thing. Iron Man and Doctor Doom have a long history together in the Marvel comic book universe, and we can only assume that casting will play on that history in one way or another. As we grapple with this surprise announcement, let's break down the relationship between Doom and Iron Man in the comics, and how that might play into the MCU's unusual take on Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom will always be defined by his feud with Mr. Fantastic. As the traditional origin story goes, Reed Richards and Victor Von Doom were college roommates and intellectual rivals from the very beginning. Victor was obsessed with building a machine that would allow him to communicate with his dead mother. Reed warned his friend that the machine was dangerous, but the arrogant Victor didn't listen. That stubbornness wound up blowing up in his face, literally, when the machine exploded and scarred Victor's once handsome face. One soul-searching journey around the world later, Victor was reborn as Doctor Doom. Mr. Fantastic has certainly remained Doom's archenemy over the years, but the Latverian monarch has also tussled with Iron Man quite a few times. Their rivalry clearly took shape in the 1981 storyline called Doom Quest, where both Tony Stark and Victor Von Doom are dragged back in time to the court of King Arthur. Doom attempts to forge an alliance with Morgan Le Fay, but they're no match for the combined might of Iron Man and King Arthur's knights. Doom and Iron Man had another major face-off in 2007's Mighty Avengers, which is set in the aftermath of the Civil War crossover, and Tony Stark's promotion to director of Saich-Ield. After Doom is implicated in an attack on New York City, Iron Man leads the Avengers and Saich-Ield in an all-out invasion of Doom's kingdom of Latveria. Though Doom wasn't actually responsible for the attack, he winds up in Saich-Ield's custody. As one of the only other people on the planet smart enough to rival Victor Von Doom himself, Tony was always going to wind up on Doom's list. It's the same reason Doom and T'Challa have always had such a love-hate relationship. It doesn't help that Tony is purely a man of science, whereas Doom is all too happy to tap into the power of the supernatural in his never-ending quest for more power. That conflict between technology and magic is also what made the Mandarin such an enduring Iron Man foe. But their relationship isn't always purely antagonistic. Following the events of 2015's Secret Wars, which ends with Doom being redeemed and getting his old face back, Doom turns over a new leaf. He becomes a supporting character in 2015's Invincible Iron Man, insisting on lending a helping hand despite Tony refusing to believe that the former Doctor Doom is on the level. Doom even becomes a new Iron Man for a time after Tony is left in a coma during the events of 2016's Civil War II. That's the premise for a series called Infamous Iron Man, as Doom forges his own suit of Iron Man armor and attempts to carry on Tony's legacy. Doom even defends Stark Industries from an attack by the Hood and his minions, but at the cost of his recently healed face. It's also worth pointing out that there are versions of Doctor Doom in the Marvel multiverse who are actually Tony Stark. One of these is Iron Maniac, a version of Tony Stark introduced in 2004's Marvel Team-Up No. 3. Another is featured in 2010's What If Iron Man, Demon in Armor. In this world, Victor Von Doom swapped bodies with Tony Stark in college. Trapped in his rival's body, Tony swears revenge and begins a years-long quest to destroy Doom Stark's Universal Company. Like Robert said, new mask, same task. And the task for all of us, including everybody in this room, is to help create the greatest possible experience that we can all have together in a movie theater. At this point, we've established that Doctor Doom and Iron Man have a long shared history together in the comics. But that still doesn't answer the basic question: why is Downey, of all people, playing Doctor Doom? Why cast the actor who made Iron Man a household name as a completely different Marvel character?